So Cardano ADA ended up tapping into this region here, which is our fifth wave target, sitting between 66.18 cents to 68.83 cents. So if I drag that along, you can see that we ended up tapping into this region 3 times. And it looks like the WXY structure that I was tracking is now complete, where we had a W wave, X wave, and a Y wave. And this Y wave was made up of 5 waves, where the fifth wave, which is this one here, ended up truncating. And so if I very quickly drop onto the minute chart, what you can see is despite the fifth wave truncating, it still met the requirements, which is a 5-wave move, where we had a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then an explosive wave 5. And so if I drop onto the hourly chart, now typically the fifth wave retraces anywhere between 1.236 to 1.618 of our fourth wave. And so you can see that this here is our fourth wave made up of a WXY structure. And our typical target would have been anywhere between 67.4 cents to 68.47 cents. But despite us falling short of those targets, we still met the minimum requirement, which was a double top. And we ended up breaking that top at 66.75 cents. And we ended up reaching this region here at 66.88 cents. Now, a similar move also played out over here, where the fifth wave ended up truncating. And again, the typical target would have been anywhere between 1.236 to 1.618. And so ideally, ADA should have reached anywhere between 65.08 cents to 65.88 cents. But then we fell short of that target, but we did meet the minimum requirement, which was a double top. And we ended up breaking that top and ended up reaching 64.64 cents. And so, despite us falling short of those targets, I am still satisfied with that move. And it looks like that WXY switch is now confirmed, and we are now on a corrective move to the downside, where it looks like a potential bigger WXY switch is also forming. And here what you can see is this move is made up of a WXY structure. And what we can do very quickly is do our checks. And the Y wave typically retraces anywhere between 1 to 1.236. And as you can see, we ended up tapping that region here at 63.02 cents. And then, of course, we have this move, which is also a WXY structure. So if I go down to the 15-minute chart, so what you can see here is you have your W wave, X wave, and then your Y wave. And so what we can do very quickly again is do our checks. So if I bring this to here, so you can see that we also more or less hit the 100% retracement of our W wave. And so, it looks like a bigger WXY structure is forming, where we have a W wave, X wave, and then your Y wave. And then that Y wave would then be a 1 to 1.226 retracement of the W wave. So it has the potential to reach anywhere between 61 cents to 61.95 cents, or we'll call it 62 cents. So anywhere within this region here. Now, what would be interesting to see is if a bigger WXY structure is forming, where we have a W wave, X wave, and Y wave. And reason being, it is possible that the X wave is not yet complete. So if I just move that to over here for now, and we have a bigger WXY structure, like so. And that X wave will typically retrace anywhere between 50% to 88.2% of the W wave. And so ADA has the potential to reach anywhere between 52.75 cents to 58.46 cents, so anywhere within this region here. And then we'll get that bigger move to the upside, like so. And then, of course, we have this final move to the downside. Now, you have smart money concept currently indicating that we have a strong low. So if I just remove some of this for now. So we have a strong low currently being indicated by smart money concept. And it is possible that the strong low gets broken and we end up tapping into this region here. And should that be the case, then that would then result in a breaker structure, so similar to what took place over here, and also over here. Now, my question is, are we going to see a similar move to what took place over here, where we ended up breaking through our strong low, which at the time was sitting at 69 cents, and we ended up going deeper. But then we ended up seeing that move to the upside, where we ended up breaking our weak high at the time, and we reached this zone here. And so it is possible that despite getting a breaker structure, we tap into this region and then still break our weak high and see a move to the upside. Now, whether or not that forms part of a bigger WXY structure to the downside, or whether we ended up having a double bottom and we are forming a bigger WXY structure to the upside, and then we have a corrective move to the downside before we see another bigger move to the upside, only time will tell, really. And the only way of confirming whether or not we are on a bearish trend to the downside is if we break this low at 51.1 cents. And should we not break that low, then ideally we'd want to see ADA break this high here at $1.32. That would then confirm that we are within a double bottom setup, and we are now on move to the upside, where we can then begin to track our wave 3. And so, yeah, that's just my quick update on Cardano ADA. As of right now, short-term target really is this target here, sitting between 61.12 cents to 61.95 cents. And it's possible that a bigger WXY structure is forming to then form a bigger WXY structure to the upside. And the question is whether or not this WXY structure is forming part of a X wave of a bigger WXY structure to the downside, where we break this low here, or whether or not we ended up having this double bottom setup and we're now on the move to the upside, where a bigger WXY structure is forming, where it could then potentially reach $1. But only time will tell, and of course that's what I'm here to do, to track the charts and keep you guys informed. So hopefully you found this video useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.